The Comelec earlier declared the Cusi wing of PDP-Laban as the legitimate faction of the ruling party. Let's get more details from Greg Gregorio, who joins us live from Manila. Hi Greg, good afternoon. What was the basis for the Comelec on deciding that the Cusi faction is indeed the legitimate PDP-Laban faction?
Hi, Sean. According to the decision made by the Comelec Special Second Division, they said that the July 21 or July 2021 National Assembly made by the PDP-Laban as initiated by the Cusi faction is valid, as it followed certain requirements, including the number of attendees, which is more than the minimum 40% quorum that is required, and it was and the party issued a notice 30 days before the National Assembly, and that this was headed by the party chair, who is President Duterte. And the division even reiterated or highlighted that since no one is questioning the chairmanship of President Duterte as the party chair, then all of the things happened in that National Assembly and the following acts made by the party as headed by the chairman President Duterte are all valid. Recall that in their July 2021 National Assembly, the party ousted Senator Manny Pacquiao as the party president. Sean?
So what happens now? Did the faction of Senator Koko Pimentel have anything to say, Greg?
Yes, Sean, according to a statement released, or according to Senator Koko Pimentel, who is leading the other faction of the PDP-Laban, they will definitely be filing a motion for reconsideration at the on-bank level of the Commission on Elections. Pimentel said they will raise certain questions as to the validity of the petition earlier filed by the Cusi faction, and that it seems that the division's ruling would remove Pimentel and many other members of the PDP-Laban who have been members of this political party for 40 long years, as contrary to the Cusi faction led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi, who has just been a member of the party for 5 years. Sean?
All right, can you tell us about the poll body's preparations for the counting of local absentee voting ballots? Greg, any updates on this?
Sean, earlier today, the Committee on Local Absentee Voting has conducted a briefing to a number of Comelec employees who will be serving as part of the special electoral boards who will count the manual ballots from the recently concluded local absentee voting. These individuals will be opening and counting the manual ballots that has been kept in a secured room by the Comelec main office. This will only be opened on May 9 at 7 p.m. after the closing of the polls across the country. Director Alan Abaya of the Committee on Local Absentee Voting said they have already received close to or about 50,000 ballots so far, and they still expect that the number would still increase as transmission of manual ballots from the recently concluded LAV is still ongoing. That would end up until 7 p.m. of May 9. Sean?
All right, are we expecting, or can we expect, Greg, a higher turnout for absentee voting this time around, at least for the 2022 national elections?
Yes, Sean, according to Director Abaya, we've asked that question earlier today, and according to Director Abaya, the number of approved local absentee voters this year, which is about 84,000, is clearly higher than the approved local absentee voters in the last 2019 elections, which is just about 30,000. And the local absentee voting turnout back then was just at around 20 to 30%. But this time, even as the committee is still continuously receiving transmission of ballots, they have already received about 52,000 ballots, which is now more than 50% of the total number of approved voters for the local absentee voting. Sean?
And with regard to, just counting all these ballots, even come May 9, Greg, how long will the overall counting last?
Sean, according to Director Abaya, in 2019, when they had to count or manually count the manual ballots for the LAV at that time, it took them about 3 to 5 days. But according to Director Abaya, since we are expecting, or since we already have more ballots this time to be counted, they expect at around a week before they can completely count all the manual ballots from the recently concluded local absentee voting before they can transmit their results to the national boards of canvassers for the proclamation of senatorial candidates as well as party lists, and most importantly for those who are running for the vice presidency and presidency. Sean?
Right, so for all national posts, Greg, how long is the Comelec, or how long does the Comelec estimate it will take them to count all votes before we already, clearly see who are the winners in this year's elections?
Yes, Sean, for the proclamation of candidates who will be winning for the national positions, there will be 2 national boards of canvassers. One is the Comelec on bank seating as the National Board of Canvassers for the purpose of proclaiming the winning senators and the party list groups. According to Commissioner George Garcia, they would need 5 to 7 days from the May 9 polls before they can announce who will be winning as the new 12 senatorial candidates as well as other party list groups who will take a seat at the House of Representatives. But on the other hand, the Congress will also be convening as the National Board of Canvassers for the purpose of proclaiming who will be winning the vice presidency and presidency who will seat on their positions for the next 6 years. According to information, the Congress will only convene as NBOC on May 23, and the timeline for their proclamation would only depend to the NBOC or the Congress themselves. Sean?
All right, thank you for clearing that up for us and for all those updates as well. Greg Gregorio reporting to us live from Manila. Thank you, Greg.